Okay. Okay, had a little bit of a hiccup there. Forgot to turn the microphone on. I said a bunch of really cool shit, but let me start over. I see Jarammer 293 has from SC is with First Blood this morning, followed immediately by Fish and Golf. And good morning, gentlemen. It's good to see y'all in the chat here. Hopefully we got a great show coming up. And Jarammer, I'm so glad it's you that got First Blood this morning, because I'm going to be talking about Mac DeFord for U.S. Congress in South Carolina's 1st District. That's going to be the first thing we cover this morning. Have some tunes while I go get some more coffee, and let's do this. You know, the bitch about having a big desk is everything's so, I got sound controls way over here, and I got the buttons for the streamer way over here. Good morning, everybody. It is a Friday. Sorry I missed y'all yesterday morning. Had a little bit of a water leakage problem in my basement yesterday morning. I got a late start on it, and about 7 o'clock, I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, God, I'm looking at a half hour before the show. What am I even talking about today? And I'm flipping through Twitter, and I finally said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking the day off and handling my shit. So here we go. So Jarammer, let's look at this shithead up in your neck of the woods. Got this post from on Twitter, where, by the way, the BFM is doing surprisingly well on Twitter lately. I spent a lot of time kind of doom scrolling it yesterday, and several thousand views. It was entertaining. So Mac DeFord for U.S. Congress says, as a vet and former law enforcement, I 100% oppose permitless carry. That's a red flag, guys. That is a red flag like you cannot imagine. So let's take a look at this. Mary Green News. He's reposting Mary Green News, who says that senators are set to begin debate tomorrow on the permitless carry bill, which the House has already passed. This would allow most adults in South Carolina 18 plus to carry handguns without, and she throws this in there, without training or a permit. The bill also includes tougher felon in possession penalties, which the governor wants. Okay. Not super excited about the tougher felony in possession penalties because, oh my God. So, Jarammer, your state is behind the power curve. 27, that's right, 27, as in more than 50% of all states are now, we'll say, quote unquote, constitutional carry states. Now, when I say the quote unquote constitutional carry state, in most, if not all of these states, the way that the law reads is we took your rights away and required you, if you were even allowed to have a gun, in flagrant disregard of the Second Amendment, we required you to get a permit to carry that firearm, open or concealed, whatever the case may be, and that varies state by state on how the permit process works. And what the so-called constitutional carry laws say is essentially we are extending a blanket permit as the state for you to have your right restored when what should have been done, if they wanted to truly be constitutional carry states, then the language should have been the related laws are repealed. Instead, they changed the language of the laws to say you may carry. If it please your majesty, may I please enjoy my God-given Second Amendment rights? Yes. Right? So that's why we say constitutional carry. So let me be very clear about this idea of permits. I want you to internalize what I'm about to explain to you. There are no licenses which serve any purpose other than to collect revenue and to create an artificial bar to entry. All licenses are offensive to the mind and moral of thinking people. It is that simple. I don't care if you're talking about a license to carry a firearm, a license to drive, a medical practitioner's license, a bar license, an insurance license. I don't care. There are no licenses which exist for any purpose or achieve any end other than the collection of revenue and a bar to entry. Right? You have to have a license to sell insurance. If you're bad at selling insurance, you won't be doing it for long. You have to have a license to practice medicine. This one actually aggravates me more than the insurance license. But by degrees, they're all totally offensive. A license to practice medicine. Let's be clear on how this works. You attend a school for a period of time, 8 years, and then you go through a residency program. The school generates a diploma, a degree, right? A documentation that you have attained the level of education that the school thinks is necessary for you to practice. And then the state steps in and says, oh, by the way, we want our piece. Nice lifelong pursuit and established credential of residency and education you got there. Shame if anything were to prohibit it. The practical license doesn't serve any purpose at all. Any practical purpose. It takes your money and it prevents you from entering. In the medical profession, specifically, it makes it a point to steal the possibility of competition from the open field. Right? Driver's license. You've been out on those fucking roads. Can any of you intelligently argue that people being licensed in any way guarantees their competency behind the wheel? Fuck no. Every license is an absolute affront, an offense to free people. Morning, Mom. My mom's watching. Good morning, Dad. So, Maul and His Majesty have joined us. Dad says he was just on the phone with my little brother, who, if he happened to tune in, I love you too, little buddy. So, South Carolina is apparently, of course, South Carolina is positioned such that my face is covering it up on the map. So, South Carolina, right over there, is not yet one of the states that is heading in the right direction. So if you have a South Carolina license, you have reciprocity with Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama. Apparently there's some restrictions with Georgia. We're not going to get into those in particular. So summary of South Carolina gun laws. South Carolina is a shall issue state with concealed weapons permits issued at the state level by the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. There is no permit, background check, or firearms registration required when buying a handgun from a private individual. You're damn right. Based on the governor's signing of HB 3094, open carry as well as concealed carry is legal for residents with a South Carolina concealed weapons permit, and for non-residents with a license/permit from a state that South Carolina honors as of August 15th of 2021. A concealable weapon means a firearm having a length of less than 12 inches, blah, 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 blah. South Carolina is a castle doctrine state. A person who is not engaged in an unlawful activity and who is attacked in a place where he or she has a right to be, has no duty to retreat, and has the right to stand his or her ground. That's good. That's good. But, like I was saying, the mere existence of licensure is a direct offense to decent people. So this guy, Mac DeFord, for U.S. Congress for South Carolina District 1, says, as a vet and former law enforcement officer, I 100% oppose permitless carry. He's running as a Democrat, right? Here's his bio information right here. He's running as a Democrat. Oh, and this line right here says that you cannot trust this man because at no point in his career as a veteran, so when he was in the Coast Guard, having sworn an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, he took that oath in bad faith, having no intent to do what he swore that he would do. We raise our hand up and we say we guarantee, we promise an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. By the way, foreign and domestic Border Patrol. So you know. And this guy says that he 100% opposes permitless carry. Allowing untrained folks to carry firearms in public is not just reckless, it's a threat to everyone. What was I just saying about licenses and permits? I guarantee you can bring 80% of current badged police officers to the range with me or Alex McDonald or Steve Rodemeyer, or hell, His Majesty, who's, not quite me. Love you, Dad. And we'll put him through his paces, and he won't be able to keep up. Xander says, I love how vets and cops who have the most basic minimum handgun training consider themselves experts. Veterans and rifles I get, but not handguns. That's absolutely. So we veterans, I'm an exception. I was a little different because I was in a special type of unit. But generally, soldiers, and I've worked with some soldiers who had no fucking clue. I have said these words on a firing range. Staff Sergeant, The bullets go toward the enemy. Flip your fucking magazine around before you jam that rifle. But what do you expect? She was a 92 Alpha, admin clerk, never saw any combat, right? 15 years in the Army. The only time she ever touched a rifle was once a year to go to the qualifying range. And all she had to do was shoot 20 out of 40 on pop-up targets, get her little pizza box badge, and fuck off to work on my pay. So, fair play, except she gets paid the same as I do, and that is just a whole nother conversation. But, I was a little different because the unit I was in, we did mandatory full arsenal qualification quarterly. So every 3 months we would spend a week on the range. I mean, we trained with firearms. We would go through the qualification course for the M4, the M9, the Mark 19, the Maw Deuce, the AT4, and a couple of different types of grenades. And in that, it's not really a qualifying course for the grenades. It's just, hey, we're gonna burn off some white phosphorus grenades so that we make sure everybody knows how to use them safely to destroy sensitive installations. Which you haven't lived until you use a white phosphorus grenade to guarantee the destruction of a single top secret classified DVD. But that's a total tangent. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that you guys got that. Those of you in South Carolina, Jay Rammer, I'm talking to you, brother. Oh, fuck this guy. That's a no-go. Mac DeFord is a fucking no-go. He's basically stating here that it is my personal intent to engage in treason, which is to say that I will take the oath in bad faith and then go out of my way to not only fail to execute on my oath in good faith, but to directly contravene the spirit and intent of it. Not complicated. So shit right up his nose. Now, let's talk about why he's wrong. Let's talk a little bit about why this guy is just intolerable. This might not be the right story. Man shot by other driver during road rage incident after brandishing firearm, concealed nation. Okay, so homeboy, Sergeant Major says I was trained on Claymore mines. Yes, Claymores are fun. I did those too. Those are fun. They're loud, but they're hard to miss with. For any of you who have never actually handled a Claymore mine, it literally does say front toward enemy on the front of the mine. It's sexy as socks on a rooster. So, man shot by other driver during road rage incident after brandishing firearm. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is not a constitutional carry state. A critical road rage shooting incident occurred on Thursday afternoon in Philadelphia's Juanita Park area, resulting in the hospitalization of a 19-year-old man. The confrontation, which took place at approximately 2:34 p.m. on the 3600 block of North G Street, that was a mouthful, involved drivers of a Honda and a Ford. According to police, the altercation escalated when the Honda driver brandished a firearm at the Ford driver. In response, the Ford driver discharged his gun, striking the Honda driver multiple times in the head, chest, arm, and back. Jesus. The injured man now in... Whoa! The injured man now in critical condition after having been shot in the head, chest, arm, and back So somebody needs to go pin a pair of brass balls on what's left of this man's bird basket. The injured man, now in critical condition, is under police custody in the hospital. Authorities later found his Honda in Kensington's E. Westmoreland Street, along with a gun in the vehicle. The Ford driver did not sustain any injuries. As of now, there have been no reports of charges filed in relation to this incident. Brandon is the founder. Okay, so, okay. Mad props to the young man for surviving that. I mean, that's tough, man. That's double tough. That's run down a cephalopoid on foot tough. That's Will Smith, it'd be raining black people in New York tough. But unfortunately, I gotta say that in that particular case, that story, it's like, I feel like we're missing a whole lot of context, so I don't have a good frame to really comment on who was right and who was wrong. It sounds like there might have been a whole lot of everybody's wrong in that case. But on the other hand, like I was saying about the permits and what Mac, what's his face, was saying about untrained people, I'll tell you something, sweetheart. Just like the existence of criminals, armed, untrained people is a problem that will solve itself. You see, the problem of there being criminals is a problem which does not solve itself. It's kind of like a monopoly. There are no natural monopolies. Monopolies can't exist in a free market. Crime, similarly. Crime does not continue to exist unless there is government there to intervene and defend the criminals, to dissuade the good people from dealing with the criminals. Government does not protect victims. Government creates victims. So, that's there's some shit going on in the chat. Let me take a quick peek, see what we got. Okay, Legion says he's an expert on the M16, M4. I've been to the range with Legion, and he is no joke. But he does not belong in the pit with a pugil. I'm still sorry. Legion, man, I'm still sorry about that. Oh, it's a damn pity we weren't all carrying smartphones with cameras that day. Bear said, Steve, there's a joke in there somewhere about an army marching on its stomach. We do indeed. Says, do not. Armor's recruiting hard lately. Apparently, they don't require the vax, and they are accepting people up to 42 years old. Hey, shit, I'm 42 years old. Maybe I can go back in. Okay. Do not boil. Okay, let's get to the next DGU. I do one or two more before I have to give the safety brief and hit the road. Man who shot and killed dog to save his cat will not face charges. Okay. Let me clarify something for you real quick. I understand the love of your pet. I understand the use of a firearm in the defense of your loved ones. Cats are not worth dogs. Cats are not worth dogs. So, York County, Pennsylvania. Okay, more nonsense in Pennsylvania. Steve, did the whole state catch Biden's rot? So, in Dover Township, York County, a man shot a dog that was attacking his cat and will not face charges, confirmed by North York County Regional Police. The incident occurred on Monday, just before 4:30 p.m., when a 2-year-old Malamute not properly confined, entered the man's property and began chasing cats. Dog caught one cat and was violently shaking it, prompting the property owner to shoot the dog multiple times to save his cat. Oh, you know what? Cats are not worth dogs, and this story is not worth my time. Let's just move on. Fuck them. Legion says the police are armed escorts for BFM and Antifa. That is 100% correct. You got a top comment badge this morning, Sunshine. Armed suspects reported on Kennesaw State campus. All clear given after police search campus. Okay, real quick. For those of you who are not locals here, Kennesaw, right, forget about Kennesaw State University for a minute. The city of Kennesaw in Georgia has one of the lowest crime rates in the nation. And that is attributed, at least in part, to a local ordinance which requires that in order to be a homeowner within the city of Kennesaw, you must also own specifically a handgun, not generically a firearm. It is not sufficient to the ordinance that you have a shotgun or a rifle, etc. Xander says, wait, don't we have campus carry in Georgia now? We do, and we've had it since I want to say 2013 or 14. When I went back to college after I got out of the Army, I always wore a firearm on campus, and because fuck you. And then one day, all of a sudden, I wasn't a criminal anymore. That was entertainingly refreshing. Steve says you might want to check the updated numbers for Kennesaw. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure if that story is as shiny as it used to be. So it was the case. Kennesaw does still have the ordinance. You do have to own a handgun in order to own a home. It's not something that's enforced drastically, but at least for the several years following the passage of the ordinance, which is not as publicized as it used to be and should be, they enjoyed some of the lowest crime rates in the country for a very long several years. People probably started to forget a little bit about that, but I mean, Kennesaw is a pretty nice area anyway. So, armed suspects reported on Kennesaw State campus, all clear given after police search campus. This should be interesting. 8:18 Eastern. This is from, it just says January 24. Doesn't say January 24th. It says January 24. Where's the date? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find y'all a date on this real quick. Published 24th, so 2 days ago. Kennesaw State University issued a series of alerts following a police incident involving reports of armed individuals near its campus. The initial alert came around 6:20 p.m., warning the university community of an armed suspect off campus. An armed suspect of what? Subsequent updates revealed that these individuals had moved onto campus grounds. Okay, still, so the fuck what? University continued to advise student, staff, and visitors to stay sheltered in a secure location while the situation was being handled. By 7:45, the university's emergency management requested everyone on campus to remain in place until the police could ensure the area was safe. One suspect is in custody, and police are searching for 2 additional suspects. As of the latest update, there have been no injuries reported. Star Major says renters shift the numbers. Ain't that the truth? Nice stogie there, Zaluska. Papa Polak. Okay, so it says armed suspects. Let's see what all clear given for Kennesaw State campus. Oh God, that's a lot of in my face. Let's take that to the reader. Kennesaw State locked down its Kennesaw campus on Wednesday evening after a report of armed intruders. The first alert was issued shortly after 6:20. Sent an update saying the person was believed to be on campus. KSU Police and Cobb County PD conducted a comprehensive search of campus buildings and surrounding areas. It's unclear whether they found a suspect or made any arrests. Okay. I'm confused. I'm really confused about this. I'm gonna have to go look into this a little bit and see what the hell's going on. It said something about armed suspects. Suspects of what? Okay, so I can only guess that we're talking about someone else who is about somebody who is committed some other crime, right? Somebody who did a smash and grab on a liquor store or something. Because within the context of these articles, all we've got is that these men were in possession of firearms, which is their right. And then they were in possession of firearms while on a college campus, which is also their right. Right? Like, I mean, Kennesaw State University is part of the Georgia university system. The campus itself, until you enter certain of the restricted buildings, is still public property, and campus carry is legal in the state of Georgia. So there's no mention here of these men being involved in any other crime. So the whole thing is just confusing. It might as well say, everybody lock your doors. There's a person nearby. No. So without more information, I don't know what's going on. It has to be it must be the case that there's some other underlying crime related to it that they're just not mentioning in the report there. But that reporting, I mean, shame on you. Shame on you, reporter, for reporting this in this, I was going to say in this way, at all. Oh, let's see if we can have fun with one, since there's some psychopathy in that shit. Speaking of psychopathy, woman uses handgun to successfully defend herself against home invader. Grand Junction, Colorado. So he was coming for the weed. In the early hours on Sunday in Fruita's 400 block of Pisces Circle, homeowner Melanie Logan successfully defended herself against an intruder. The male intruder managed to enter her residence, but Logan, armed with a handgun, confronted him, causing him to flee the scene. Fortunately, there were no injuries or damage to the property. In the wake of this incident, the Fruita Police Department emphasized the importance of safety measures for residents. Lieutenant Nick Peck for the department advised the public to ensure. Wow. Okay, so a shady-looking dude knocked on Chickie's front door, and she ran him off with a handgun, and the whole story is 2 paragraphs long. It's a little weak this morning. I'm not real happy about the articles there. But the important thing that I wanted to get to was covering homeboy in South Carolina running for the Senate and how he needs to not fucking be there. Or I'm sorry, not the Senate. He's running for Congress. He's running for the House, South Carolina District 1. So, it is the weekend we're going into. It was shitty and rainy over here yesterday, but it's looking prettier right now. Let's see. Tomorrow is supposed to be... tomorrow looks warm and wet. So it might just be time to watch yourself a little TV and snuggle up with a cold drink or a hot cup of coffee. The purchase of which is linked in the description below, and we definitely appreciate your patronage. So y'all be safe out there. Don't drive drink. Don't fry bacon naked. And you're better off squeezing one off downrange than looking in the barrel to check if it's loaded. Y'all be safe. We love you, and we will see you on Monday.